Hey guys, what's up? It's Schla, and today I'm bringing ya another episode of Car Rides with Schla. I knew there was something that I wanted to talk about. I was just talking about last episode, but I don't remember, and I thought maybe I could try to rush and get to it now. I don't remember. So, I guess I'm just going to have to think of something else to talk about. Something like that. I don't really know. Not that I know what to talk about. What is up? Yeah, I don't know. I guess I thought things were going to go pretty. I've really been frazzled in the mornings. You notice that? I know we were just talking about this. I just have not been on it for these mornings. I'm not sure what happened or what the problem is. I thought like for most of the series I'd come in and immediately have something to say in the morning. Now I don't. Now it's always a struggle in the morning, but I thought yesterday on the way home that was a pretty good episode. But I'm having a hard time figuring it out. It's weird. What is there really to talk about? I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I thought there was at least going to be something. I thought there's always something. But maybe I'm just not really interested in anything right now. There's nothing to be interested in. There's things I could talk about, but they're not interesting, or I don't even know what I'm getting at. What's the point of what I'm getting at? I guess I need to think of a system where there's some kind of prep or something. Some kind of thoughtfulness or mindfulness in the morning. I remember what I was going to talk about now, by the way. It was that I really love to do things religiously. Whatever it is, I like things that have added cumulative value. So if I do something, it should really be adding on to the next, or something done in succession. I always get confused about that, but I think it's succession. I don't think it's secession. Just doing things over and over again. And I like repetition, that's true, but there's a difference because I don't like repetition. I actually don't particularly like repetition if there's no tangible output, if that makes sense. So with this show, it's repetitive, but it's a bigger thing. It's not just me talking while I'm driving. It's also this bigger series and this cumulative thing that I'm accomplishing. So that's why I like it. I don't know that I would really like doing things if there was no culmination to it. I think it's probably why I'm okay with working, just because it is repetitive, it is silly and all that, but it's a cumulative reward. You're making money, you're accomplishing something, and it's a routine, but it's a systemic routine, I guess. There's a system to it, and I think that's why I can tolerate it the way I do. I tolerated it a lot less before car rides with Schla, and even still, I'd rather just record not in the car ride, but this is where we're at right now due to budget constraints and time constraints, a mixture of both. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. But I think that is the things I like. There always has to be something culminating to a greater, and that's why I guess I don't understand a lot of video games that people play and are popular right now, because to me it always seemed like there was no reward or no meaning to even play it. And I guess that just goes back to how most humans think, and I guess they don't. I guess people don't think, or they're not very aware of the long term to that much of a severe degree. It seems really difficult for me to fathom, but I guess that is the case. I guess most people can get very deluded in the present and not really think about the consequences of the things they do. Whereas for me, I actually have an opposing problem of it's hard for me to just chill and do something. It's just not easy. For me to actually sit down and just focus on something and not have a care in the world is a really difficult thing for me to pull off. I usually, when I'm watching a show or playing a game or doing anything really, it's usually fairly difficult for me to focus on whatever thing it is. I think that's notable. Because a lot of people, it's the opposite issue. They're procrastinators. People don't understand the benefit of doing something for the long term and not just for what's right in front of you. And you would think that would put me at a huge advantage, but I guess it hasn't, because it also swings between that and impulsivity. So while I'm aware of the long term, it's almost like I get too aware of the long term and it's so intimidating that I just snap and then make poor choices, if that makes sense. I'm so aware of some kind of impending consequence. I'm so aware of it that it eats away at me and it stresses me out to the point where I've done stuff that was not good, mostly to do with spending money. My timing for spending money, I don't think, is very good. Right. Sometimes I've impulsively spent a lot on things that I don't really get much out of. But at the same time, I feel like for me, shopping is that is one of the things I do. It's a vice a lot of people have. I know I'm not the worst, because there's people who get in debt from it, and I'm not in any debt from shopping. I never was that bad. So I guess I don't even know how much of a vice I can call it, because my shopping has never never even affected my life. So, I don't know, is something even an addiction if it doesn't? That's something I guess I've thought about a lot. Is it really fair to label something as an addiction if it never matters? Like, if you do something, in this case, you shop, you're addicted to spending money. But as long as you're still able to pay all your bills and it doesn't impede on your actual life, I feel like there's low-key a different classification for that. Or at least there should be. Because there's no way that's the same thing. There's no way it's the same thing. I know it's two different things, but I wonder... Because even in the case of cigarettes, there's probably some people, albeit rare, who smoke them and then don't have the consequence associated with it. Because some people just have good genetics and they don't really notice it. Some people get very lucky. It's a small amount. It's the same thing with soda. Some people drink a lot of soda and then nothing really happens to them just because maybe it's in moderation enough, or there's other things about their lifestyle that help them or whatever. But those are the exception. That's the exception. Most people don't get that. But that's not the point I was getting at, was it? Oh boy. Yeah, I just haven't been, man, I have not been on it. I've not been on it. The exception. I remember what we're talking about. So, that's my thing, is about addiction and about these problems. How much is something a problem if it really doesn't affect your day-to-day? Now, obviously, there's really a lot that goes into this dialogue. It also speaks on human nature and how much we should value ourselves to be the best people we can be. Because some people don't care about that, I don't think. I think there's some people who aren't really concerned with being the best that they can be. Some people just think it's fine to just be human, and that's good enough, and we don't have to get all crazy about it. But other people would point out, as I think I would be in this camp, even if you are good enough for yourself, that's meaningless. Because when you look at humans and you look how they incorporate societally, you just making enough money for yourself does not mean you're at your potential. So let's say for me, for example, well, let's not use me as an example because I don't know if I believe these things about myself necessarily yet. But let's say somebody is pretty smart and a pretty capable person. They could be working some kind of skilled job that makes $100,000 a year or something, $200,000 a year. But instead, they're just working like a relatively easy job that makes $40,000 a year. And they're happy, they're in a situation where it works, and then that's it. And then that's what they do. They're fine. I think a lot of people would think that that's okay. They wouldn't see anything wrong with that because the way modern society, or maybe society always was like this, but it's that idea of, well, if somebody can do it, they just should, But that's not good. It's not good to act that way because it affects everybody else poorly. So you have one person who's not at their potential, then they're making less money, and then that's putting less money into Social Security, for example, Medicare. It's putting less contribution into the greater good of somebody who could. Same with income taxes, even just regular taxes. Somebody who, if they worked harder, could be paying more into the system, and they're not, because they're just lowballing it and doing what they need to do and not what's best of them to do. Now, an obvious counter-argument to this is, but of course somebody else would just fill that job, and that's fair, and I've been thinking that this whole time. But you could get to a point where so many people think that way that nobody's grabbing those jobs anymore and nobody's really that skilled. You could see that. It's not out of the question. We're going to see a lot. We're going to see a lot go down in the future. Man, what is going on? I don't know what I'm doing. It may just be the end of the series. I can't keep rolling like this. I don't know what's happening to me. It's been happening a lot fairly recently, just not remembering what I'm talking about. It's getting to the point of concern. Now, I mean, it's human, but it's definitely human. Hey, at least it's Wednesday. That's kind of fire. Today's Wednesday, July 30th. Wow. I thought it would be the 29th, but it's already the 30th. I can't believe I forget what I was talking about. I guess we'll just go back to what I remember, which is the whole thing about addiction, and does addiction matter if it's affecting your day-to-day life? Because that's what, I don't even know what I went into after that. But I guess that's the original question. Right, okay. I remember now. So we're talking about how somebody not being at their... Like, let's say somebody's potential is they have really good genetics and they have a really high cognitive and physical potential. They could be making a lot of money, contributing a lot. But because of that, they could also take an easier road. They don't have to work as their full potential. They don't. Because they'll be able to easierly, that's what I was going to say. They're going to be able to I'm going to say more easily. Somebody who has a peak potential like that could optimize better for minimal. So let's say they could hold a $200,000 a year job, but instead of doing that, they just do an $80,000 a year job, but it's super easy for them. Like, it doesn't really faze them. They're like, their brain and their function is just above it. Whereas the $200,000 job, yeah, they could do, but it would be a good amount more effort and responsibility. And even though they can do it, it wouldn't be as easy. It would just be more of a normal level of difficulty. But then, since they're at that potential, they could just work an $80,000 and then just be fine. Like, live a pretty comfortable, cozy life. You see what I mean? If somebody is like a 9 out of 10 person working a 6 out of 10's job, it's just going to be really easy. And their life, it's almost unfair. And I mean, this speaks into the broader thing that I've said before, is that not everybody's equal. Some people are just dealt so much easier lives. There's some people, and I know I'm a proponent of this, where I don't have any health issues. I don't take any meds. I don't have to do any of that stuff. And it might be kind of minor, but it is also fairly major. Because some people have to go to a therapist. They have to go to a psychologist. And doing those things is kind of annoying. And there's some people where you just don't even need to do any of that stuff. So some people's lives are just objectively less annoying. And it's intrinsic. It's intrinsic to the life. And there's a pretty big inequality with that. And like I said, if you're born smart, if you're born skilled, you can take up an $80,000 a year job and do it easily. But to somebody else, that might be difficult. There's all kinds of examples of this. There's people with social anxiety who get shy. It's difficult for them to communicate. And then there's other people who it's nothing. People just say what they want to say. They're almost obnoxious. There's all kinds. There's all kinds of people. But obviously, there's a clear advantage that some people have. And whether it's nature or nurture, how people get to where they're at, it's not super important for the point I'm making. It's just a person is how they are through a combination of nature and nurture. And that's really it. This is where we're at. This is where we're at. So it's not really fair, right? Because for somebody to work a $40,000 a year job, by the way, too, I am oversimplifying this. We're just assuming that dollar matches up with not necessarily difficulty, but skill set. So when I'm saying a $200,000 job, I mean somebody whose brain is gifted enough to handle it, maybe physically able to handle it, all those things. That's what's important. And so it's easier for somebody who was born in a better situation and is in a superior body to function. And I don't know, it's not necessarily fair. But I don't know if there would even ever be a reason or a need to change this. I don't know if it's I'm not even trying to say it's a problem that government could or should solve or anything like that, really. Not really the point I'm trying to get at, I guess. I'm just noting it. I don't think it's something many people are aware of or familiar with. Because I've said this before, I used to think that everybody was the same intellectually or had the same potential. You just had to work hard and you could get there. But that's definitely not the case. And there's just certain people in this life who have way more enjoyment than others. There's a lot of people who just have better lives. And we see that a lot in America, but also globally, global inequality about it. Yeah, I think this is really the first time I've ever felt this way during one of these. I mean, it's possible it happened before, but it's probably just the least amount of content and the least amount of speaking. I can't believe that. I just can't. Because I guess I just never thought that would happen. Well, I probably did I don't know why I'm even saying that. Of course it's something I was always worried about, that it would happen. And again, I don't know really what the cause is necessarily, but it is what it is. I don't know, maybe I'm just tired. Maybe what I'm doing is kind of weighing on me a lot. I definitely think that could be catching up to me. Because you have to remember, it's only really been July, I think, that I've been doing the extra hours at work and stuff like that. It has not been a recent thing. And so I don't know. I mean, it gets to a point where at first you do it and you're... See, that's weird. That it's just weird how I keep zoning out, and I can't even finish a thought. Like, that's just not normal for me at all. I hope I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, the mornings have just not been good. Well, no, my mornings have been fine. I guess it's just the morning episodes. And I guess in general, I'm not getting transmitted that much information to talk about. Like, I feel like these are so slow, and I mean, there's been times, and it's recorded, it's on record. I'm talking so fast. I'm really going crazy. I'm really getting into it. There's been plenty of moments like that. And now it's weird. The amount of times I've just paused this episode, man. Man, I'm ready to start crying, man. Nah, I'm playing, but I am genuinely kind of upset about it, but I'm not ready to start crying, you know. I'm not interested in doing that. That was just a little bit of a joke, you know, just a joke to try to liven things up, liven myself up. Yeah, I just don't know what I'm supposed to do. How do you smack some sense into a man, you know? How do you get some sense into a man? I just think we're kind of in a long haul. Well, I said it before, but we're just further in the long haul now. I know I said this a couple weeks ago about, oh, well, a lot of, you know, it was a really exciting time, but now a lot of the changes have been made. And then now there's a lot of work to be done, a lot of routine, but there's not going to be much else really happening in my life. I already bought the computer. I already bought pretty much everything I wanted. So, of course, there's further things to want and further things to get. But at the same time, you really hit a breaking point. I'm kind of out of space to where if I buy more stuff, it's just, where's it going to go? In my room? You know, I don't know. So, of course, there's always more stuff, but it's not the same. I think for the time being, I just have a lot of the stuff I've always wanted, so there's no reason to keep going at it. There's just not. I don't really know what else to say to that. So we're in a lull. We're in a state where things are just not, there's not really anything in particular to be excited about. Then there was car rides with Schla and starting that, and it's exciting to start. But then, you know, then there's mornings like this morning where I'd probably rather just chill. That's, if I'm going to be honest with y'all, like I probably just would have been better off not recording, and I could. It's not like I have to do the show. I could just take a break if I'm not feeling up to it. But I guess I'm just so locked in at this point that I'm not, I don't know, I guess I don't see that as an option or something. I just don't even consider it. I don't consider not doing it, you know? So it's fine. It'll just go down as being a bad episode. Maybe nobody will watch it, but I don't think that's really the intention, right? That always has to be the goal. Is I'm not doing this for other people, you know. I'm doing it for my own my own something to look back on and say, yeah, I'm glad I did that. I'm glad I did that. It's still better than taking the easy road of, oh, today I didn't feel like doing it. So that's how you got to look at it. It might have been a bad episode, but it was good for what it was. And notice too, I still wasn't bored, at least for me. Now, I'm assuming somebody listening to it, that could be a different story in terms of the degree of boredom. But in terms of me, I wasn't bored, I was fine. I just think I needed some moments to myself, some pauses and some distractions, I guess. I wasn't all there today, So it happens. These things happen. And I think that's important. It's important to have moments where it's not all great. But I just think maybe tired. I don't know. It's weird, though, because it's not like I slept bad or any worse than usual or anything like that, really. Just all odd. It's all odd as usual. I don't even know what to say really anymore. It's strange, right? It's all strange. It's always strange. But yeah, I mean, what are we supposed to do? What is the point? I guess that is a good point, though, and something I could do. It's possible I could just stop doing the car rides with Schlaws in the mornings and just do them at night. Well, it's not night, but it's, when I'm coming home from work, because it's probably going to have more consistency. I mean, not that I'm actually going to do that. Don't get worried, because I'm not going to actually do that. But I'm saying if we were trying to make the show better or something, that's probably what we would do. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's weird. I'm just... I feel like resting, My usual chatter is not really present right now. It's just weird, man. It's weird. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I think it's time to get ready to work. Just another day, and it's Wednesday, but it's kind of a sluggish day. It's a sluggish day. Everybody has those days, though. That's what I'm saying. I mean, yeah. Wow. I think everybody has these days. It's just, for me, it doesn't really change anything. Because some people, they don't go to work. They might take it, oh, I can't come in today. I'm just feeling off or whatever. But for me, I muscle through. I'm still basically a child, too, even though I'm in my 20s, because of how behind I am. I feel like I'm 5 years off of what I should be. It's crazy. And I've already explained my thoughts on that. It's just modern society doesn't really set you up right and all that. Yeah, I might as well call it a day. It's been Schla, but now it's time to buy Schla. And I apologize for the bad episode, but hopefully the next one will be better. It's been Schla, but now it's time to buy Schla. So, see you, Schla.